Hi, and welcome to DevOps Days 2021. I'm Volodymyr, and today we'll be talking about GitOps and what to serve it with. Let me share the presentation with you guys. A little bit about myself. I work as DevOps engineer for the last 6 years and overall 8 years of engineering. During that time, I had the chance to work with more than 15 projects in industries like healthcare, gambling, automotive, e-commerce, and others. I'm taking an active part in the Center of Excellence within Intellias, help other teams and projects with infrastructure issues or cost optimization ideas, and as well as with the engagement processes. Few words before we started. On one of my projects, we were working with continuous delivery to the Kubernetes cluster. We were using Helm and a bunch of bash scripts, and as a result, almost every release was failing, and we were not aware about the deployment state before and after release. While troubleshooting, it turns out that application had some unresolved dependencies, or simply someone made the changes to the cluster between the releases, which caused unexpected behavior and as a result, deployment delays. At that point, I understand that we are doing something wrong, but unfortunately, the GitOps wasn't popular at that time, and people were trying to create their own bicycles as well as we did. Guys, you can't even imagine how fascinated I was when I first figured out what does GitOps is. Now, it's time to share my experience with the feature-rich framework called GitOps. So, the GitOps is the way of implementing continuous deployment for cloud-native applications. It's a framework that helps developers to use tools they are already familiar with. No additional training is required. From that, we got efficiency and delivery speed. GitOps is an operational model based on years of engineering experience and consists of a set of principles and methods with which you can speed up your team using this simple rule to keep everything version controlled. Now it's time to talk about principles of GitOps. It consists of 4 principles. The first is the entire system should be described declaratively. It should be implementation independent, easy to abstract in a simple way, easy to validate for correctness, easy to generate, and multiply from the code. The second is the desired state is version in a Git. With that, it becomes easy to roll back, and together with sophisticated approval process, it provides excellent security guarantees for auditing and reviewing. The third principle is about automated process for delivering your changes. This provides us a significant velocity gain, and we don't cross security boundaries because the CI system is not aware of the destination. It's not aware about the clusters to where it should be deployed. Meanwhile, the changes will be applied by the agents who runs inside your cluster and will notify you about any issues during the rollback, during the rolling out your changes, and that's the fourth principle. What are the benefits we have from using GitOps? Oh, we have lots of them. And the first is productivity. Continuous deployment automation with an integrated feedback control loop speed ups your mean time to deployment. Your team can ship from 30 to 100 times more changes per day, increasing overall deployment output in 2 or 3 times. The next one is enhanced developer experience. Developers can use familiar tools like Git to manage updates and features to Kubernetes more rapidly without having to know the internal of Kubernetes. Newly onboarded developers can get quickly up to speed and be productive within the days instead of months. Third one, improved stability. When you use Git workflows to manage your cluster, you automatically gain a convenient audit log of all cluster changes outside of Kubernetes. Also, the control loop always kept your cluster in a sync. Of course, this is not the full list of benefits. We also have higher reliability, consistency, and stronger security guarantees. You will get even more right after you will start using it. Now it's time to talk about security and how to avoid common issues with your pipeline and security. Most important concept while integrating GitOps to your infrastructure is that you move the burden of security from having access to the cluster to having access to repository. One of the examples, there are companies like Platform9 or Terraform Cloud who wants an admin access to your cloud environment or production cluster to help you manage things. For various reasons, you have to trust those third parties these days. However, I'm more comfortable with managing AWS by my own rather than allow that for startup or small company who may use cutting corners around the security while they are focusing on marketing. If we quickly review the list of root causes of unplanned outages, we will see that human errors among the leaders. That is because humans are prone to make mistakes. I remember me doing some stupid errors just because I was trying to skip some checks or reviews. So what's the solution for this? First, you need to move humans away from direct access to the server or configurations, especially to production. Run everything through the linters and tests, and of course, ask someone to review your changes. Add restriction to managing changes without approval from your teammate. If you follow those rules, you will reduce the outages in times. So let's talk about secrets. Do they securely store? In fact, everyone on the team can trivially pull out the deploy secrets from the CI system. To pull out the secret, you just need to push a branch and print out the environment variables during the job run or post them to some endpoint. And in fact, compromising one engineer is enough to gain an access to the production. Let's finally clear this up and talk about where to store them. I don't think that you store the PIN to your bank account on a sticker near your PC, or do you? For the secrets, I prefer to use Bitnami sealed secrets. It's free to use under Apache license tool that allows you to encrypt secrets value before it committed to the repository. It looks like a simple secret, but when you stored by Bitnami agent and once changes apply to the cluster, it will automatically be converted to the regular secret. On this screen, you can see the example of the execution. Now it's time to talk about pipelines. We have two ways of implementing the deployment strategies. It's like an Ansible and Puppet, push-based and pull-based. We will be focusing on the pull-based mostly. But first, let's review the push-based. The push-based is usually something that you already have or seen on your projects. Due to straightforward approach, it can work for a wider variety of scenarios, such as Kubernetes, Terraform, or Ansible-based environments. The main requirement here is the idempotency of the tool of choice. For example, the ability to apply the same configuration again and again without change of behavior. Usually, push-based GitOps pipeline use some automation tools such as Jenkins, CircleCI, or others. The pull-based deployment strategy uses the same concepts as the push-based variant, but differs how the deployment pipeline works. With the pull-based deployment approach, the operator is introduced. It takes over the role of the pipeline by continuously comparing the desired state of the environment repository with the actual state in the deployed infrastructure. Whenever differences are noticed, the operator updates the infrastructure to match the environment repository. Additionally, the image registry can be monitored to find the new versions of images to deploy. The operator should always live in the same environment or cluster as the application deployed. When the actual deploying instance lives inside the very same environment, no credentials need to know by external services. Thank you guys for coming. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you have any questions, you can post them to my direct messages on Facebook or LinkedIn, which you can see on this screen. The extended version of the presentation and code examples you can find on my LinkedIn page. Now it's time to invite you to visit Intellia's webpage for new future opportunities. Thank you guys for being with me this 10 minutes. Looking forward to see you soon.